Greetings, one and all. It is I, Mr. J, welcoming you to yet another, what I'm sure will be an informative and tragic evening of quiz-based content on lovewrestling.ca. Yes, that's right. It is time. It is now time for yet another edition of Quizplex. I must inform you all that I am contractually obligated to be here. I do not care who wins. I do not care who loses. Because in my humble, let's be honest, not so humble opinion, I know all these answers. And you should too. So, why bother? But isn't it funny to watch people get things wrong? That's why I'm here. And that's probably why you're here too. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event. That's right. It's time. It's time. It's Quizplex time. With your host, Zach Ralph.
It is the last Thursday of the month, and that means it's time for your pro wrestling trivia game show here on lovewrestling.ca. My name is Zach Ralph. Thank you to the late, great Mr. J for the fantabulous introduction. I hope we never replace those introductions as our continued tribute to you. You are very well missed, Mr. J. But, you know, the wordsmith's pretty good, too. Hope you all enjoyed Between Two Beards this evening on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And now we're going to start our pro wrestling trivia game. And not only is it Quizplex, but it is the championship edition of Quizplex. As Dare Amazing is pointing out, who will be the champion of champions? We have 3 past champions of Quizplex here joining us tonight, and we will determine who is the champion of champions. I'm going to take the time to introduce some of these familiar faces, and it's going to be a bit of a twofold purpose when I introduce you, because I'm going to be, of course, introducing you, and I'm also going to ask what you got at Pro Wrestling Tees with your original prize, which will also let me make sure Spencer forwarded you that gift certificate that you are due, gentlemen. So with that, first, to my left, and mirror images and such, this gentleman was introduced to us through Quizplex and later became a valued member of the Love Wrestling team. Ed Freeze, how you doing, friend?
I'm doing well.
Yeah,
I actually haven't spent it yet. I'm hanging on to it in the chances that I win tonight, because a gentleman my size, as you'll know, as anybody knows, shopping, things are a bit pricey. So
you were diligent. You were saving it up.
Yeah, just in case.
Brilliant. And below, it's a frequent guest on Power Out, the NWA reaction show, in which I host. Josiah McDonald, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I have not spent anything yet because I have yet to receive it.
I see Spencer off camera, and don't worry, friend, we're going to introduce you, and you're going to have plenty of opportunity to apologize to our guests profusely for the world to see. And third, at least, but last but not least, there's the classic idiom that I certainly jumbled. He joined us for probably one of the most chaotic games of Quizplex to date. Doug, how you doing, friend?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything, but I also didn't get the gift card yet. But I have an idea in mind of what I do with you.
Okay, well, I appreciate you being you pleading the fifth and maybe erring on the side of discretion. But
I'm just going to throw myself in.
There we go. By the way, when Spencer pops up, you got to drink.
Now, I already realized I should say right off the bat, hello, welcome to another edition of Quizplex. Embarrassingly, I tried to get ahead of all of this and tweet out before anybody called me out because I deserve it and I should be ashamed of myself. But I tried to get ahead of the news cycle and tweet my apology before we even hopped on here on Quizplex that I was remiss on sending over some gift cards. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bump up the stakes here. So not only obviously are you guys going to get your $25 gift cards that both of you are rightfully owed, but we're going to bump this one up. We're going to make the stakes higher for this edition of Quizplex. We're going with a $100 gift card for the winner of this one.
Holy damn.
Wow.
Because if I'm going to apologize, we're going to apologize correctly. We're going to do right by our champions. We are going to do right by our 3 title holders sitting here on screen, in addition to Zach and myself. Unfortunately, I can't say 4 title holders because I did not win the Love Wrestling Elite Championship back last Sunday, but say la vie. $100 on the line for the winner of today's show, and the $25 gift cards that both of you guys are owed immediately following today's show. I'm taking myself off.
Well, I was going to pass the buck onto Spencer's considerable workload, because again, not only is he running lovewrestling.ca, which has been this wonderful startup throughout the year, bringing you great wrestling centric content, but also he's been putting together a frigging wrestling show that's going to be taking place October 15th in Edmonton, Alberta. We're of course talking about LPW X Force Pro Wrestling Change the Game. And you know what? If you're joining us here on Twitch, you're actually here at the right time, because it's actually the last day of September. And what does that mean for Change the Game? Well, you can, if you sub to lovewrestling.ca on Love Wrestling CA on Twitch, you're going to be able to join us for Change the Game on Twitch. Of course, anyone can watch, but only subscribers can participate in the chat. I think there might be a graphic, if I can encourage Spencer to pop that up, because it's probably got some information that I'm missing at this present juncture. There it is with the Voros twins looking handsome as always. Once again, October 15th, this is going to be a card featuring the Voros twins, Nicole Matthews, Alexia Nicole, Michael Richard Blaze. Hell of a card that Spencer has put together. And, again, I put him on the spot, and I kind of feel bad doing it now because the dude is busy. And but we got good content coming down your way. Hey, have you met the Plex family? Sue, German, and Quiz. I feel like this is a Brady Bunch reference. We should probably doing the gimmick. So with that, as mentioned, whenever we encourage Spencer to pop on in, it's going to be time to take a drink of your beverage of choice. This is pub-themed trivia after all, but of course, we are not encouraging overconsumption. Drink within your limits, friends, and stay safe. But with that, we've got round 1 to kick off. And let's take a look on how this game is played. Each player will have the opportunity to answer 2 pro wrestling related questions per round. They will have 10 seconds to verbally answer each of their questions. If a player gets their first question right, we will move immediately to their second question. While the active player is answering their question, the other players may also answer the same question on their whiteboard or paper, which they have equipped. If the active player gets their question wrong, the other contestants will be awarded half points if the answer on their whiteboard is correct. In round 1, correct answers for the active player are worth 100 points. Correct answers stolen from the active player are only worth 50 points. Gentlemen, are you ready to play Quizplex?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yay! Excellent. With that, we're going to kick things off with the man at the top of the screen. We're going to ask Ed the first set of questions. Your first question of the evening, sir. Before it was reintroduced by Major League Wrestling in 2019, the Opera Cup was a famous tournament held in opera houses. Which legend was the last one to win the original cup? This is a tough one.
Yeah, this is the first question? Jeez.
Yeah.
Austin Idol.
Let me just actually pop in. Spencer, can you actually cue me into which folder I should be looking in to make sure the answers are correct?
You just wanted people to drink. Zach, it would be in the aptly named Quizplex September 30th folder.
Oh, this is what I get for rushing. Okay. Let me scroll down. Can you pop up that question again, Spencer? There we go. Okay, you said Austin Aries, Ed?
I said Austin Idol.
Austin Idol. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, guys. Don't mean to bring that name to this broadcast, but I'm afraid Austin Idol is incorrect. Josiah, Doug, do you have answers to this question?
I honestly have no ideas, so I just guessed and I wrote Ric Flair since he read Legend, but
Okay.
it's probably not.
What do you have, Doug?
I have absolutely no idea. I put Tajiri.
He is
The
a legend. I shouldn't have thought of him.
The timeless legend himself. The answer is Stu Hart. Man, we are kicking off with some difficult questions. WrestleMania. Reese on Wrestling has joined us. Stu Hart with the correct answer in Stu Hart. Wow, geez, we got some correct answers across the board. I think the Twitch stream is showing you up. Reese with some extra trivia. They found the cup while clearing out his attic a couple years ago, I believe. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Absolutely. But with that, I think, Ed, we're going to move on to your second question of the evening. New Japan Pro Wrestling was founded by which wrestling legend?
Antonio Inoki.
Antonio Inoki is the correct answer. Well done, sir. You are on the board with 100 points. We are going to move on to the next active player of round one, which will, of course, be, Doug. Oh, Spencer has popped on the screen too much. I've been already getting some hiccups here. Doug, are you ready for your first question of the evening?
Yes.
Excellent, because here it comes. Who is the youngest WWE champion of all time?
I'm going to say Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar is the correct answer. Well done, sir. 100 points for you. Your second question. Dare Amazing's also got Brock Lesnar. I'm sure there's a handful of people who got that right in the chat. But we're going to go to your next question. What was the first match to air on the very first episode of AEW Dynamite?
Of course, I got the one competitor. MJF and Sammy Guevara.
I'm afraid that is incorrect. We're going to move on to Ed and Josiah. Please present your answers on to your cameras.
I don't know. I forgot.
Jungle Boy and MJF?
I'm afraid that is incorrect. Doug, you did get one of them correct. He main evented last night's episode of AEW Dynamite and won the TNT title, losing to Cody Rhodes back on the very first opening contest of Dynamite.
Should have known it was Cody. Should have known.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I knew it was Guevara, but I couldn't remember the other guy.
Yeah. From what I remember, it was a very good match. But with that, Josiah, third and final contestant of round one, your first of two questions. Deonna Purrazzo employs a very specific armbar as her finisher. What kind of armbar is it?
A Fujiwara armbar.
Fujiwara armbar is correct. Well done. 100 points for you. We are going to move on to your second question. Who is the first person to win the WWE, ECW, and World Heavyweight Championships?
CM Punk?
CM Punk is not the correct answer, I am afraid. Ed, Doug, I invite you to put your... We've got Big Show.
Big Show.
And Big Show. I am afraid those are also incorrect.
Really?
Correct answer is Kane. The Big Red Machine.
He got me on the last Quizplex.
It's gotta be Kane.
See, that's new. Now he's jumping in with sound bites, which is going to make the game a whole lot more dynamic. So that kind
we're not allowed to use GIFs or any sort of video over 3 seconds at fear of being removed from YouTube. So hey, you get me, and you get to drink whenever I show up on screen.
I mean, I don't know why he's going away, because I was about to invite him back to tally up the results of round one. So Spencer, why don't you come on back and inform us? He's got to close the overlay, then he's got to allow himself into the room. There's a
and
process
honestly,
here.
half of it is like we've got the new addition to the show for the final round, which we're going to leave as a surprise, obviously, for the Champions Edition. But
yes.
there's a little bit more scrolling I have to do. Zach, you're familiar with the layout of StreamYard. You know how these things go. We sign up for the awesome music, and we stay because it's a solid program. However, We also believe Quizplex to be a solid program, not only because of a quiz-based wrestling trivia format, but because we are all tied up here at the end of round 1 of our Champions Edition. It is hunt it for
Whoa.
Doug, Josiah, and Ed. We are sitting pretty at the end of round 1. Things are looking good. I also I made sure to take off, Zach, because every new appearance means that you've got to drink one more drink. There's no like intermission, cool down period, anything like that. So
I understood what I signed up for when we integrated this rule early on in Quizplex.
It was quite literally like in the middle of the first game. This is a long-standing rule by this point, friend.
Natural part of the show at this point. But with that, we conclude round 1 with a 3-way tie. That might be a first ever in Quizplex history. So we're going to move on to round 2 shortly after this message.
Ladies and gentlemen, isn't it incredible how little or how much these people know? This is a pre-recorded message, so I don't actually know how much has been answered wrong and how much is being answered correctly. I'm only assuming that there is a lot of wrong answers, because I have no faith in humanity. By the way, you are tuned in to Quizplex on lovewrestling.ca. We are currently on an intermission between people getting answers wrong and people getting answers right about professional wrestling, right here on lovewrestling.ca. Stay tuned. The show will return momentarily. Oh, what's that? I had to vamp more because, what, contestants needed a break? So, all right, fine. I'm here again with a not-so-recorded message to say, yes, you are still here, and yes, people cannot respect guidelines of 30 seconds or less. I don't care if you have to go to the bathroom. Save that for later. This is time for Quizplex. You need to be here and stay here. Because it's Quizplex, and where else would you rather be?
It's, he keeps saying we all need to take a break, but I think I'm only the ever only the one who has to like leave and, go to my fridge or whatever.
Sorry to everybody who just watched me take a big bite of pizza. And sorry to everybody who has to drink because I popped up on screen again.
Oh man, eating on stream. Yeah, that's a no-no, Spencer. That's a no-no, but that's okay. That is okay because we are about to kick off round 2. Once again, same kind of gameplay, but what's different is the amount of points that are going to be delivered to you. Correct answers for the active player will be worth 200 points. Correct answers stolen from the active player are only worth 100 points. With that, let's start it off. Once again, I'm just going to work top to bottom. One day I'm going to get the right order. You know what I mean. Josiah, let's kick it off with you. Ready for your second round question, sir?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Let's do this. Your first of 2. The WWF once had a Canadian heavyweight championship title. Name the only person to ever hold it.
Dino Bravo.
Well done. Bravo to you, sir, for getting that correct. Dino Bravo is the correct answer. That's 200 points into your tally. And we're going to get to your second question. Triple H's theme song, The Game, originally by Motorhead, was covered by which band?
Oh, I know this.
It's definitely the kind that'll get you kicking yourself.
Saliva?
Saliva is not the correct answer, I'm afraid. We're going to go to Ed. We're going to go to Doug and your whiteboards. What do you have, gentlemen?
Don't know.
I know.
Oh,
I know this isn't their official name, but it was Chris Renthro or something like that in the DX band.
I'm afraid that's not correct. What do you have, Doug?
Worth a shot.
I have no idea. I did Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath is not correct. Again, we're talking about a staple to WWF
Oh,
drowning
known.
pool.
Should've known.
I knew it was saliva or drowning pool.
You were so close. That same era.
I was gonna say if I didn't know it was like metal-y type music, I would have probably said Limp Bizkit because they're in that same group of they just use the same people for like 7 years.
It was the same album that gave us Kane's Finger 11 theme.
Yes, the all-time classic Slow Chemical, if my memory does not elude me right now. We are going to move on to Ed and your set of questions for round 2. I have let the bodies hit the floor stuck in my head right now. For a better part of the character's run, WCW's Kiss Demon was portrayed by Dale Torborg. I apologize to Mr. Torborg if I got your last name incorrect, but which wrestler originally debuted in the iconic Gene Simmons face paint?
Vampiro?
Vampiro is not correct, I'm afraid. I'm going to give Josiah and Doug a few more seconds because that was quick on the draw by Ed.
I have a guess.
I mean, if you have a guess, Ed, we like your beard. Shout out from one of the two beards.
If only I could be on a Thursday show about beards.
Josiah, Doug.
I wrote Jeff Farmer. I wrote Eric Watts.
Eric Watts, Jeff Farmer are both incorrect. Doug, do you care to venture a guess?
No.
A member of the NWO and of course part of WWE's golden era, Bryan Adams, also known as Crush. Poor Dale Torborg. He was told he would debut as the Kiss Demon, and then they wanted Bryan Adams to do it. Bryan Adams wasn't even comfortable doing it in the first place, so he passed the buck back to Dale, who was super enthusiastic about this character. But we know how history went with the WCW Kiss Demon.
It was supposed to have a really great run too.
Yeah,
And congratulations. That means that Bryan Adams has now been part of 2 legendary bands, Kiss and, of course, his own namesake.
The thing with the Kiss Demon, too, is that they promised Kiss that his matches would be the main event. So they do the first match or middle match on Nitro, and they call it the main event because the Kiss Demon was in it.
Yeah, he was supposed to main event a pay-per-view as well, and they did the exact same thing as well. One more question for you, Ed, before we move on to Doug's set of questions. While Kane interrupted the main event of In Your House Bad Blood, he didn't make his in-ring debut until the next month's Survivor Series, much like his older brother. Who did he wrestle on that pay-per-view?
Flash Funk.
That's a good answer, but it's not the correct one. We need more answers questions where Flash Funk is the answer here on Quizplex. Jeff Farmer. Keep going to the well, Reese. Josiah, Doug, do you have answers on your...
I definitely have this one wrong, but I wrote D'Lo Brown.
Mankind.
And the correct answer is Mankind. So Doug gets 100 points stolen from Ed on this one. Not stolen. We don't take from his bank, but stolen from the active player.
Yeah.
You know our lexicon here. Well done. And with that, Doug, I have 2 questions for you that'll close out round 2. Your first of 2. Oh man, these are tough ones. What was the main event of the final WCW Thunder? Man, that's a tough one.
I'm going to go. I don't know why I'm writing it down. I'm going to go Scott Steiner against Jeff Jarrett.
I'm afraid that is the incorrect answer. Josiah, Ed. Scott Steiner versus Booker T. I'm afraid that is also incorrect. Josiah, do you have an answer?
Terry Funk versus Dustin Rhodes.
Oh, man. You know what? You put all those answers together, specifically Doug's and Josiah's, you would have gotten the right answer. Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner versus Dustin Rhodes. We got close there. We got very close, but I'm afraid that's a tough one. Sting versus Billy Kidman. I loved Billy Kidman's like latter day WCW push. That was entertaining.
When he kept beating Hulk Hogan.
I mean, it's pretty entertaining.
And didn't get over.
Yeah, and somehow didn't get a push out of it. Remarkable.
I don't. Can we really blame Billy Kidman for that? But that's another piece of Love Wrestling content that we'll discuss at a later.
He got Tory. Does it really matter if he got over with the wrestling crowd or not?
I suppose. But the final question to close out round 2, Doug, here comes your way. In Tracy Smothers' iconic Thug promo, what does the G stand for? T stands for terrible, H stands for hell, U stands for ugly, and G?
Gentlemen.
Gentleman is not correct, I'm afraid. Josiah, Ed, what do you got? We told you this was the championships edition. This was always going to be the tougher of the Quizplex games.
I know this ain't right, but
Yeah. What do you got? Gangster.
That's what I wrote. That's what I wrote too.
I'm like, I know it's not right.
I know it's not right too.
I'm afraid all answers are incorrect. The answer is jail because a thug can't spell.
Of course it is.
Of course. Tracy Smothers. Tracy Smothers was the best.
He really was.
One of the greatest promos and one of the best acronyms you could ever really think of.
The wordsmith needs to get on that promo now because I have to hear that in the wordsmith's tone of voice.
Oh man, wordsmith. I don't know if you happen to be tuning in or if we need to flash a light into the sky to catch your attention. But yes, I agree with Ed's assessment. You need to be approaching a Tracy Smothers promo in the very near future. With that, we close off round 2. Was this against New Jack? I'm not actually sure. It might be. But I think I think it might have predated New Jack. But I defer to
great against New Jack.
I defer to far more reliable sources than I on what the timeline of that promo is. But I will defer to someone else, another expert, an expert on point tallying, Mr. Spencer Love. There he is.
Me, the gentleman that makes you drink every time I appear on screen. Friends, family, and wrestling fans, it's of course held up to its name, the champion edition of Quizplex, as close as ever. Unfortunately, not as close as the first round was. However, we've got Ed sitting in third place on the standings, but definitely tied for first with our other competitors in our hearts with 100 points at the end of round 2. Doug following up with 200 points following the first steal of the game. This, I think, is the latest we've had a steal take place in the game. And then we've got Josiah sitting in first at the end of round 2 with 300 points in the Champions Edition of Quizplex. The boss is here. Where's Sasha Banks? Haha, bad joke. I'll see myself.
Always happy to see Ash.
He didn't even finish the sentence.
He cut himself off. A true pro knows when someone's taking too much time, and he just cut himself off. Well done.
He called for the hook.
He called for the hook.
Send hook.
Send hook. Oh, Ed, you get me. Spencer makes you think, doesn't stink. Oh, well, we got a second wordsmith joining us through Dare Amazing. But with that, we're going to move into the third and final round, and it's going to be a brand new concept that we're actually integrating in Quizplex. So stay tuned for a big surprise. We'll see you right after this. Send hook. Send the video package.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now on an intermission, so do what you will. Refresh your drinks, go to the bathroom, feed your dog, feed your cat if you are so inclined. I don't know why you would be feeding a dog or a cat at this particular hour, because it is Quizplex, and every single ounce of your focus should be on this show. So, the cat, the dog can wait. Grandmother can wait on the phone for a few more moments. Call her back. She can wait. You are watching Quizplex right here on lovewrestling.ca.
Thank you for that comment, Dare Amazing. That popped me while we were on break. If I could get a clip, if CM Punk was on Cameo and I could get a like in the same cadence that he does with Hook, like a send Zak, man, that would be a soundbite for that I would use on pretty much any content that I drop here on Love Wrestling, Quizplex included. Thank you very much, Dara. With that, third and final round, and we promise something very different from previous Quizplexes, and I am going to invite Doug to be the first participant of this new exciting round. Tag with Cody for one night. I mean, if he's looking for partners, I know Arn Anderson and company have dropped him. So, hey, Cody.
And apparently committed a homicide.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that went places. That went places, and that is certainly an exciting topic. But with this, Doug, you are going to be the first participant in a round we like to call Up Close and Personal. What we have for you is an extreme close-up of a professional wrestler, and you're going to try to discern who they are through visual cues.
Oh, hold on, I need my glasses.
Oh, okay. If you need a moment, we can definitely. Oh, we're going to go on an adventure. Okay.
I was going to say we're on a journey.
I was excited.
Oh no, he's now smarter. No.
All right. Well, here we go. Round one of Up Close. Oh, yes, it's true. And one question per player, one Up Close and Personal. Correct answer by the active player worth 500 points. Correct answer stolen from the active player are worth 250. Thank you, Spencer. Otherwise, I would have forgotten that. And absolutely, that's a very key component because no one is out of this game just yet. Lots of points at stake in this third and final round. But with that, Doug, your first visual cue. Here it comes. Feel free to talk it out for yourself.
I'm pretty sure that's Heidenreich.
Well done. That is indeed Heidenreich. I was hoping that the LOD pads would throw someone off, but the red glove. I think the red glove. Was it the red glove?
It was the red glove. Yeah.
Okay. Very well done, Dara. Amazing. Also wondering if it's Heidenreich. You are indeed correct, Dara. Well done. And so Josiah. Oh, poor Spencer. I realized how much like back and forth he has to do through the brand setting. But we got your up close and personal cue. And here it comes.
That's Lita.
That is Lita. Maybe this should have been the opening round because this is going very smoothly. Well done. That is indeed Lita. I couldn't crop the picture any better, so please excuse me. And third and finally, Ed, 500 points. Your opponents have each gotten 500 points. Do you feel equipped to get your own 500 points with this visual cue?
Pat Patterson.
I'm afraid that is not Pat Patterson. Doug, Josiah.
Luna Vachon.
Yeah, Luna Vachon.
Oh, Ed, you might have had this stolen from you because that is indeed Luna Vachon. Doug and Josiah getting points off of that stolen answer. Luna Vachon. But all that to say, gentlemen, very well played in this third and final round of championship edition of Quizplex. And with that, we're going to invite Spencer to come back. He's going to let us know who the champion of champions is. And please do not leave after you find out who the answer is, because we are, of course, giving away one Twitch subscription, which will allow you to tune in to Change the Game October 15th. But with that, I've vamped enough. Spencer, the floor is yours.
Oh my goodness, Zach, you vamped just enough, because I also did not realize how many production cues that would take for you and I on the up close and personal segment. You know, we like to think that we're trying our best and having fun, but most importantly, we're learning how to do things better for the next edition of Quizplex, which of course will take place on the last Thursday of next month, which by my math, I believe is October 28th. However, I'm guessing.
Can we do Halloween? Can we do a Halloween Quizplex? Can we?
Yes, consider that done. I've already, Zach, and
that would be fun.
This is gonna be a fun little piece for everybody out there not involved in Alberta wrestling. If there is an Albertan professional wrestling show that is willing to book me to ring announce, my plan for Halloween this year is to be the American Badass Undertaker, but with a bicycle with playing cards in the spokes. And I'll make my ring entrance. I'll do all of it. So please book Spencer Love for your ring announcing duties around Halloween for what is going to be the funniest, most embarrassing 160 pounds of individual trying to play 320 pounds of individual that you will ever see. But enough about me, enough about Halloween, enough about my plans. Let's talk about somebody who is going to go home with either 100 or $125 to Pro Wrestling Tees. If it wasn't for accidents, I wouldn't be alive. So at the very least, sometimes they lead to positives. Unfortunately, in third place for this show, the Champions Edition of Quizplex, definitely a guy who holds a lot of stake in our hearts, but we've got Ed following in the third position for this show with 100 points. In second place for this evening's edition of Quizplex, we've got Doug with 950 points and the winner of a $25 gift card. And the winner of $125, 100 of which was earned today, it is Josiah Speech, my friend. You've got the big screen.
Well, I have trained very, very hard for this again, like I did last time. I have spent months planning for this and researching, and I have finally achieved my goal of winning Quizplex a second time.
Congratulations, Josiah. Now, Zach, I will let you close out the show. Of course, the host gets that duty. But Josiah, I am certain that I speak for all of us here at Love Wrestling when I say to thank you. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Doug, for hopping on the show this evening. It means a lot that not only you hopped on once, it means a lot that you hopped on twice. And unfortunately, Josiah, it means that we're going to have you hop on thrice for our Champion of Champions edition. We've got 2 out of 3 individuals lined up for the December show. We've got Josiah. We've got the Canadian Goose, honk, honk, honk. And over the next 3 months here over on lovewrestling.ca, we're going to be queuing up your third champion, and champion, and champion, and then the champion of those champions to be our third in the Champion of Champions games. Wow. We're lucky that you only have to drink when I hop on screen and not when I say the word champion here on Quizplex. But just genuinely, friends, yeah,
it's a champion session. Championception.
A championception. But please, Spencer, do not leave. By my count, we have Dare Amazing in the chat. We have Reese on Wrestling. Is there anyone I am missing?
We do. As of right now, I think you were covered off. You were set to go. You were good to do whatever you please as far as it goes. Before you do that, and as you're lining all the stuff up on your Twitch end of things, Dare Amazing, I think that this is a great idea. Admittedly, it is something that until your comment came up, I hadn't thought of. So if you can give us a little bit to figure out the logistics and everything on that end of things, I think I can at least conclusively say on behalf of Zach and I that that's something that 100%. We're very interested in. So stay tuned because Ed, we'll talk off screen. Don't kill the business. Don't kill the business, brother.
All right, I am adding Race and Dare Amazing. I should just flip a coin, but instead I'm adding these names. But I like this tag team edition of Quizplex, and we will definitely be exploring that. But with that, I've got Dare Amazing. I've got Reese. We're gonna figure out who gets the gift sub. Okay, this shouldn't be
trying to do a drum roll.
Dang, the answer.
Zach was trying to
Reese on Wrestling. Congratulations.
A champion and a Twitch subscriber.
Yeah, a former Quizplex champion in his own right, and he'll be a Twitch subscriber going into October to join us for Change the Game. But
he already has a sub.
Oh. Okay. Well, Dare Amazing. Does Dare Amazing
you know
have
what
a
I'm
sub?
going to do? You know what I'm going to do? If Dare Amazing already does have one, which I believe they do, admittedly,
Okay.
what I'm gonna do is we're gonna pass this on to the next stream that we've got. So whether you're on it or not, Zach, the next time we've got somebody in the stream that is not subscribed to Love Wrestling CA here on Twitch, we're going to throw one their way, because let's get real here. You don't want to miss out on a great night of independent professional wrestling. You don't want to miss out on interacting with professional wrestling fans from around the world, as you had the opportunity to do with tonight. Tune in on October 15th. We're starting the stream at 6 p.m. Main card starting at 7 p.m. But the only way to interact, hang out with your fellow wrestling fans here on Twitch, is to subscribe, is to gift them out, is to hang out with us here for the next couple of weeks until Love Pro Wrestling changed the game. Zach, I've talked a lot. I said I was going to let you close out the show. So for right now, unless, honestly, a good opportunity for me to make a good joke or for somebody to drink pops up, I will bid you adieu for this evening. Congratulations, Josiah. Doug, I owe you a gift card regardless of tonight's results, and I'll see you guys in a bit.
Thank you very much, Spencer. And again, you weren't overstaying your welcome. We had business to take care of. But Ed, Doug, Josiah, thank you very much for being part of the Champions edition of Quizplex. You earned your spot on this highly competitive evening, and I'm glad to be hosting y'all once again. Before I let you go, we're going to go clockwise. We're going to start with Ed. I'm going to ask where to follow y'all on social media. Ed.
You can find me at edfries12584 on Twitter.
Perfect. Nice and concise. Ed is also part of the NXT reaction show here on Love Wrestling CA, which takes place immediately after Power Out, which is immediately after NXT. So, we got the double feature happening. Doug.
You can find me on Twitter, DougF13.
Doug F13. And Josiah of the Wrestling Observer and our Quizplex champion.
You can find me at WR_Central on Twitter. And as Zach said, read my stuff at Wrestling Observer and Daily DDT.
And with that, gentlemen, once again, you have my thanks. My name is Zach Ralph, the host of Quizplex. I'm also the host of the Smark and Friends podcast here on lovewrestling.ca and, of course, Power Out. Spencer's popping in saying we're going to be rating Putting You Over on Twitch. So if you're here joining us on Facebook or YouTube, the end of the broadcast is going to happen. It's going to be business as usual for you. But if you're on Twitch, we're going to be rating our good friends at Putting You Over. Once again, you can follow me at SmarkMouth on Twitter, at smark.mouth on Instagram. Thank you very much for joining us on Quizplex. We're going to see you next month for Halloween Quizplex.
Ladies and gentlemen, the points have been tallied, the winners have been announced, the losers have been sent packing, and I am still as ever Mr. J, better than everyone that competed tonight. It is, as always, a fact of life. In case you're wondering when this lovely, lovely show will be returning, it is the last Thursday of each and every month, right here on lovewrestling.ca. We hope that you will return next month, and we hope that you enjoyed this evening's festivities and the competition and the knowledge